Hello, my juicy co-creators. Lilou here. I'm here with Raamayan in Hawaii.
Honolulu.
Isn't this cool?
It's amazing to be here at this World Congress of Quantum Medicine. It's definitely the pioneers of our planet are here, and they're showing up, and they're teaching each other and learning from each other, and it's exciting to be here.
Yeah. Why did you decide to come? For that same reason?
I decided to come because I work directly with Yuri Kron in one
Interviewed last year, if you haven't seen that interview. He's amazing.
Incredible man. Russian man. He's a very amazing Russian man. Was at the forefront of his field. I won't imitate Russian accent anymore. But at the forefront of his field, one of the most esteemed scientists in Russia and working in paranormal phenomenon, and spent the last 25, 30 years developing a technology that can capture subtle energetic blueprints, record them, and then infuse them back into a storage medium. And so where the big criticism of quantum energy or subtle fields has been lack of repeatability and lack of empiricism, he's kind of hit both of those with his stone. And so I've been working with his tools for the last 3 years and distributed them to over 50 countries, 350 healers, thousands of clients, and seen phenomenal results. And so I'm here to participate because it works, and I'm seeing it.
So tell us about your background so we can get your story and understand you a little bit better and relate to, because it really helps. Because you're Indian, right?
Yeah, but I'm a mix. You know, my father was born in Africa. My mother was born in Hong Kong. But they're both Indian ethnically, and I was born in Canada, in Vancouver. So I have connection with literally all over the planet. And I very much connected with my Indian origins more recently. Because growing up in Vancouver as an Indian, and at 6 years old I moved to Hong Kong. And I lived there for 6 years, and then I moved to Thailand. And so growing up as an international citizen, very much so, moved to 8, 9 different schools, 15 different apartments, and was constantly on the go, constantly witnessing different people, different cultures, different environments. And so I've been very international and very adaptable. And in the earlier stages, before yoga was popular, Indians were ostracized for being Indian. And now that the philosophy and the worldview of yoga is spread around the world, and you have 100 million people who are self-identified as practicing yoga, it's really cool to be Indian again. And but throughout the thread for me, understanding what the knowledge of India is and what the knowledge of the Vedas is actually what this whole world of quantum medicine has been talking about, but they discovered it over 5,000 years ago. Like your 5 bodies or the 5 koshas, you know, your cycles of nature and your law of thermodynamics are called the gunas, and all of the different laws of nature in India are represented by beings. So you have Ganesha, Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, and the West has difficulty understanding because they call them heat or waste, or they call the aspects of nature by a specific scientific function, whereas India's will personalize them. They're all aspects of intelligence, and they're all personal in nature.
So it's not good or bad.
It's not good or bad. And so studying the Indian cosmology, I've started to realize that our body is actually the most profound instrument in the cosmos. It's the most amazing scientific instrument that's ever been created, and nothing will be created in science that's like it. And so what the yogis discovered is that once you sit still and you go into your inner world, you can actually interconnect with the whole cosmos, and you can actually derive knowledge through the power of your intuition, through connecting with all the different tiers and levels of intelligence in the cosmos, having a first name basis and relationship with them, and getting and downloading knowledge and frequency from them. And so I've started to learn that science from some of my teachers, and it's profound, really profound. And it's really influenced the work I do. And I am here to try to be a bridge between that ancient knowledge and ancient wisdom and modern science.
What do you feel that everybody should know on this planet, or what is really, you think, at the core of your message that you feel in your heart and that you were brought here in the world for? I know it's a big one.
Whoa. What am I brought here in the world for? Okay, this is a good question. This mudra was downloaded to me about 2 years ago. And I call it the heart mudra. And if you know about mudras, each of your whole body is an energy system. Each one of the fingers represents a particular element in a particular energetic channel. And so Indians have a science of mudra. So as soon as you connect a finger together, you connect an energetic channel. So this is called the ring finger, or the heart meridian. And so this actually is shaped into a heart. And this heart shape is universal. Doesn't matter what culture you go to, where you go to around the world, they recognize this heart shape. Why? Modern quantum physics has realized that at the core of our heart is actually formed just like a torus donut. And so if you look at the physics of the heart, it actually makes a shape. It goes like this. The quantum torus donut goes like that. And when you pull to the opposite ends of the torus, you have polarity. And then you come into the middle of the torus and you have unity. And so the heart is the fourth chakra, the middle chakra, right? In the 7, the prime number. And so after being in this world and witnessing, you have this culture, this race, you have Indians, Chinese, Russians, Americans, whatever. You have people from this cultural class, this religion, this caste, this age demographic, this, cultural and socioeconomic demographic. But when you look deeply into another person's eyes, and when you connect with them at a heart vibration, instantly all those barriers drop. Instantly you recognize the unity of the spirit, the unity of the soul. And you feel such a deep heart kinship and resonance that's based on that vibration of love. And I call that heart tribe. And I feel that now more than ever, we need to move from an ethnocentric to a heliocentric worldview. We need to embrace this global worldview that we're all one family. But it's difficult to do that because we as human beings also need structure. We also need a framework to identify with. And so I came up with Heart Tribe. And this is the mudra for it because our heart needs to have a roof over it. Right? It needs to have a roof over it to protect it, otherwise it's easy to break. And so here's the roof, which is pointing towards the sky and down towards the earth. And the heart is right there in the middle. And it's a mudra that you can share with another, like the Namaste, but it's a little bit more technical. Yeah. And as soon as you look at another being and you recognize who they are and you witness the truth of their divinity, you can just make this symbol. And you can show to them and you can share with them at a heart-to-heart level that you're Heart Tribe. And yes, I'm involved in water, and yes, I'm involved in subtle energy, and yes, I'm involved in science and this paradigm going forward. And yes, these things are all fascinating, but they're only as good as a human ability to connect with their own spiritual center, their own ability to connect with the truth of their own inherent divinity. And one thing I was discussing over lunch that I'd really like to share is one of the most subtle control points of humanity. And it's the reason why our current scientific paradigm is the way it is. One of my spiritual teachers calls today's scientific paradigm the runaway abused child of the Christian Catholic Church. And the reason why he says that is because for so long, Christianity persecuted science and scientific paradigm that they had to make a necessary break from religion and say, your spirit is this way, we're just studying the observable phenomenon of matter and material energy. In 350 AD, in Constantinople, there was a council held called the Council of Nicaea. And at that council, they decided in Christian theology to make the whole doctrine of reincarnation illegal. A heresy. So they called it the Eastern heresy. So up until 350 AD, Jesus resurrected. The whole worldview was, of course, there's reincarnation. They changed that and said, no, you only have one life. When you only have one life, it's easy to be controlled. Easy to be controlled, easy to be manipulated. You came here, whether you're a beggar or a cripple, you have one life, you have one shot, that's all you get. You either go to heaven or hell. What you do in this life determines it, and we're the intermediary between you and God. And so this one life phenomenon means that you can only have a material body. If you accept that there's reincarnation, it means that you're more than just this matter. There's something different between you and this chair, right? There's something more. And so this one life theory is actually at the center, pinnacle, and the crux of this control point of this whole scientific paradigm. When we open to the fact that we are eternal, that we have many bodies, and that we cycle between them like every major Eastern religion, indigenous awareness is understood, then it takes away the control. Then no religion can control us anymore, and then it opens up the awareness that yes, of course we exist in subtler realms. Yes, of course that's a possibility. And so I want to identify that because when we talk about matter, we talk about science or quantum physics or mainstream or not or metaphysics, people don't come to this point. It's never talked about, this control point of the one life versus the many life theory and how it's actually at the point of control. And I just want to bring that up. Not saying that you have to adopt it, just meditate upon it.
But what do we do with that information, though?
What do we do with that information? Well, that's interesting. That's a good question. We have to go within ourselves and ask ourselves those questions. For example, the same air I breathed in may just be the same air you breathed out 5 seconds ago. What's in, what's out. The water I'm drinking may be the same water that you're drinking. But you're still you and I'm still me. Actually, every cell in your body reincarnates every 7 years. You know that? You know that you don't have one single cell in your body that you did when you were born? So every 7 years, your body reincarnates. Every single cell in your body is different. Yet you're still you, are you not? When you go to the bathroom and you pee or you take a dump, you don't say, oh my God, I've just lost a part of myself. No. So it's obvious, just based on obvious observation, that you are not that material energy. It's obvious. Just by basic witnessing of the phenomenon of how you interact with matter, it's clear that you're not matter. You eat food, that food becomes the body, and then it passes out. It's not you. You're still you. Right? So who are you, and what part of you incarnates every 7 years and remains? Right? And so the yogis have discovered this. They are able to consciously leave their bodies. I stayed at an ashram in India, in Haridwar, where the Baba, or the head of that lineage, at 80 years old, he sat in full lotus posture at the Ganges River. All of his Babas were sitting around him, chanting, and he said, at 11 a.m. at this date, I'm going to leave my body. Sat in full lotus posture, full breath, did all the yoga bandhas, locked each one of the particular energy channels, spun up, shot out of his body in full lotus posture. They picked him up, put him in the river, and he was gone. So, yogis have developed the technology of consciously leaving their body, of conscious death. Right? To do that, it means that you're not the body. This body is just a vehicle for you to transition your consciousness through and gather experience, and then move on to the next part of your journey. You look around, look at the stars, look at the cosmos. There's billions of galaxies, billions of stars. They just found out that there's a black hole about 5 billion light years away, where there's enough water surrounding that black hole to fill 40 trillion planets. Water's just not on this earth.
Whoa.
Yeah, water's everywhere. Look it up. Google it. And so this universe,
to look that up.
The universe is full of life. The universe is full of intelligence. And so don't get limited. Don't let anybody limit you. And that's the key thing. Yoga says there's nobody that can ever be an intermediary between your relationship and the divine. That's you. And anybody that tries to put a control point there is trying to control you. It's up to you and your relationship.
But then how do you feel about the gurus? Because you, in India, like there's a lot of gurus. Do you feel we need gurus, or do you think the guru is within, or how? What's your point of view on that?
It's a really good question. Ultimately, the guru is within. Any good guru will teach you that. See, the difference between a real guru and a fake guru is a real guru will set up situations and experiences for you to self-realize. A fake guru will try to tell you what truth is. Very subtle, but very profound difference. Right? Actually, my teacher, Jeffrey Armstrong, he once said that the actual words guru, gu is another word for the sticky material energy, so matter. It's called the gu, so very appropriate, right? And ru means to remove, right? And so a guru removes the illusion that you are matter, that you are the body. And so when you remove the illusion that you are matter, you stop becoming identified with matter. So anything that happens to your material body is not happening to you. And so once you're able to make that switch of awareness and realize that you're not the body, you ask the most fundamental question: who am I? What is the nature of self? And so every morning, even now, I sit and I ask that question because I can't get complacent in that knowledge. Every morning I sit and meditate and I said, who am I? What is I? What is the nature of self?
Constantly changing, yeah.
And so a good guru will allow you to ask that question, not tell you an answer. And so there's many people pretending to be gurus, and unfortunately with the yoga boom in the world, everybody who can get an 800-hour or 200-hour course and doing some stretching can call themselves a yoga teacher. And I'm not trying to diss people who are trying to spread healing, but just realize what it means to take on the responsibility of being a spiritual teacher, or what it means to actually take on the responsibility of another who is looking for the deep understanding of who they truly are. Because if you do that without awareness, you can take on their karma. And so be very aware.
And it's also valid, and I thank you for saying that. And I really feel it's important to get the message out, and also for people themselves seeking out teachers and spiritual healers, or to really listen and to take the time also to find what's right and what's resonating exactly, and not do it from fear or from, oh my goodness, I need to do it right now very quickly.
Got it. And that's such an important point you just mentioned, right? Is doing it from fear. It has to come from a place of love. Yeah. It really does. And I'll give you one example. Have you heard of Amma? Amrita Nandamai?
I'll be interviewing her in a few weeks in France. She's coming.
You're going to get to interview Amma?
Yeah.
I want to be her. Right now.
Amma is coming to the Juicy Tour. She's in France on the 31st of October. Actually, by the time I put this video, I'll probably be nearly interviewing her, yeah.
So Amma is one of those beings that teaches through her direct example. She talks very little. Her wisdom is basic. She doesn't talk from Upanishads, she doesn't talk from the Gita, she doesn't talk from this text or from that text. Her wisdom is a simple village girl wisdom, but it's undeniable. She sits, doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to drink, doesn't need to sleep. She can see 20,000 people a day and give them non-judgmental love from her heart. People like that show us what is possible. What is possible for a human being to do, right? And she says she'll tell you that you're not the body. She'll tell you that this is the vehicle. She'll say the same messages, but she'll show through her personal example of loving and transforming people without judgment. And her example is the example of Guru. And she's showing it to the world. And wherever she goes in the world, anybody who comes into her presence starts crying, starts breaking down, she doesn't need to do anything. The doing is just a byproduct of being, right? If you try to be a guru, you're going to fail. You cannot try to be a guru. It's in the very essence of your being. Once you reach that state of self-realization, either you're out of here or you're sharing it with others. And that's your path. Right? Beware of people who are trying to be gurus because they're still doing it from their mind. It's still them, and they still provide a service. I'm not saying they don't. For certain people at certain levels, it may be really important. Right? But for those true self-realized beings, all you need to do is sit in their presence. And that transmission will be downloaded. And that's the quantum model. That comes right back to this conference, right? That comes right back to here because there's a non-locality. Like I can sit in and I can think of Amma and that same love flows into my heart. That same power that I was feeling sitting in her ashram right next to her floods into my being. It's non-locality. Just by being in the presence of a master, there's a transmission that takes place on our subtle and higher energetic bodies. That is at a level that most of us cannot communicate using these type of language sets and frameworks. They're limited.
I feel even through videos it's transmitted.
It is. Because the video is capturing more than you think.
Yeah.
Right? That's why Masaru Emoto just now said that he was doing his Hado device, measuring diseases on people, and then he took a photograph of someone, measured it, and could figure out exactly the same thing. Why? Because that photograph is actually creating an imprinting, same like this video. This video right now is carrying my energetic signature. If I look at this camera right now, and I look with true, genuine sincerity and love, and I transmit that, you're going to receive a little piece of that. You're going to receive a little piece of that peace, of that blessing, of that caring, of that wisdom. The sound vibration is going to permeate your body. You're going to feel what I'm feeling. And this is the power of media. And this is why I'm proud to be on your show and glad to be here. Because I feel that the future of our world, in a huge way, is dependent on how we can facilitate memes that empower people. We do. We have so much media out there, but we need memes and media that empower people. That empower people to step up, see themselves as beautiful, see themselves as divine, see themselves as worthy of dignity, see themselves as worthy of respect. And the more beauty like this that we can spread, the better.
I'm on.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you so much for this delicious conversation. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And with in this beautiful environment of Hawaii and the sound of the water, because I hope they could hear it through the... Huh? Did you hear that? The beautiful sound and this love vibration. Thank you, my delicious co-creators, for watching, for spreading this love. You're part of the love tribe now.
Yeah, don't forget heart tribe, the heart symbol. You just take your hands, put your 5 fingers together, put your thumb down, take your ring finger, put it down into a heart, put it on your heart, and just meditate with this mudra. If you meditate, I suggest you do. And feel how connected it feels. Feel how all of a sudden you balance, you drop into your body, you feel your heart, And then you can step up to another being, get them to make the same mudra, walk up to them and make a heart channel. So you actually can put your hands like this, they put their hands like this, and you stand right in front of them. You connect your hands together and it opens up a heart channel. And I've done this with entire groups and got them to do it. All of a sudden this huge heart channel opens, it expands, and then they connect to each other in a huge way. So it's beautiful. So remember Heart Tribe, use this mudra, it's a gift. Share it with whoever you feel is your Heart Tribe, it's a gift. My love to you, my blessings, and my gratitude for being here.
Wonderful. Juicy. Much love. Aloha.